Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Go to my website, check out my bio. It has my link tree. It has a link to the Substack where I put additional information. It also has a link to my website where you can see the plan that I'm looking to implement to give citizens more power. Because money is like a problem right now. What we see a lot of times is we see 98% of the voting populace, not registered voters, but 90% of people that vote consistently, always vote for people who have done nothing that they've done. They've all come from wealth, money, really good backgrounds of the majority. So we're not going to act like that's not true. And we're not trying to pick out the one or two. We're talking about the majority because money is an issue. No matter who we voted for, neither side has come to an agreement. And I always got to say sides because Americans seem to have a real problem putting people in who don't identify with a party. You can't just be American. You got to be Republican American or you got to be Democrat American. That's the problem. I am non-party affiliated. I want to put citizens in power. But I'm not asking you for your money because we've heard the term used in Congress, dark money. Where's the money coming from? So many shell corporations. Then they take your tax money. Then you see ad after ad after ad from each side, Republican and Democrat, asking for your money. Yet you cannot go online and buy an office. House Speaker Mike Johnson did an interview and he says, we can't expect everyone to be happy. He did not talk like that when they were talking about passing that bill. So what happened was two groups. You have two groups that you're looking at because when we talked about taxes yesterday, what I said was there were two groups. There was the wealthy and the non-wealthy. You can put yourself in the lower, you can put yourself in the middle class, the wealthy and then lower middle, and then that's it, right? So that's them and everyone else. And the way it's written is that the majority of the benefits went to the more wealthy. And we know that that number is low amongst the population. So when Mike Johnson says we can't make everyone happy, they chose to make the most wealthy happy. And that's important because if we're going to keep, now you have to take this into consideration. You really have to look at this. If you voted Republican, no one's saying that you didn't get benefits because that would be a lie. It would be a flat out lie. You definitely benefited from the taxes. It's just how, right? There is no part of it's right and part of it's wrong. It's just a time frame. That's why I said that for the middle class and lower class, we're going to be having the same argument again in 2028 because it's written in the bill that way. While the wealthy class had an extension that they used the terminology permanent. But I told you that in order for it to make it permanent for them, you cannot make it permanent for everybody. It's not possible. And I'm not even going to ask you to go back and look at history because we're here today because we know that at some point they were overtaxing and it wasn't working. And it has been historically done everywhere. When you tax your population into poverty, because that's what happens, that becomes a problem. So what is it that we're trying to do? What is it that my platform is trying to do? I'm trying to figure out if citizens, even if you're not at the historical educational level where you can't just be throwing out dates, you can't do all these. At minimum, if you are at the age of 18, you are a voting citizen that wants the ability to have your voice legislatively heard by way of legislation. If you want to control that elected official, I'm going to tell y'all something that really bothers me. It really does. It really bothers me that a person can come out in front of you and say, I want your vote. But when they get to the office, they do not have to vote the way the constituents, the people they went out and got their vote, they don't have to vote the way you want them to. If that's going to be okay, then what do we do with the people that you were supposed to represent? That means that you're not representing the people by way of the structure of the system. I'm running for governor to adjust the structure, change the structure, restructure the current structure because it's jacked up, it's broken. Because if you don't have to listen to the citizens by way of your vote, you still get to be an individual, but you get taxpayer money and all of these people hired you to represent them and you're not, then we need to do something about the system. That's why I'm running for governor of Florida. We have got to fix the system. And it's important for me to know that you're willing to take the extra step to go to the bio, pull the petition down, sign it. I already pre-filled it out. Just sign your name and take it to your supervisor elections office and then say, hey, I took my petition down there. I'm going to be one of the 1,200 that you need from each county in Florida to ensure you get on that ballot because you're correct. There is no representation from our representatives because they don't have to include you. They just have to get in the seat. That's all they have to do. If you believe in your representative, then you've got to believe in the governor that's got to ensure that you can back your representative. That if your representative goes left, the population can go right. That's important because that's the problem and that's what needs to be solved. It's a root cause problem that the citizen, the American citizen, the Floridian is too far removed from power. Even though in the Florida Constitution, Article 1, political power is inherent to the citizens. Just doesn't tell you how. So the way we know it is by way of the vote. But remember, I'll keep on saying it, and I will say it multiple times. There is not a single policy, statute, piece of legislation, or rule that says that when an elected official signs the documentation and says, I want to run for office, that they have to tell the truth. There you have it. There you have it. If you don't have to tell the truth, it leaves room to lie. Let's just call a spade a spade. So yes, I'm trying to change some things, and there are a ton of things. But the root cause is if you know there are problems and you are a voting citizen, beyond voting for a representative, what can you do? So stop sending these people your money. Stop sending them your money. Find out if they're going to allow you, the population, to use democracy to foreshape how they vote. And if they're not, then how are they gonna represent you? How is that possible if we're not going to be able to take lobbying out of the system? How is it possible? These are just really easy concepts to come about, or at least I think it is. So please give me that level of support because I am really just wanting to give citizens the ability to see if indeed the world looks the way you wanted it to or the way they wanted it to. And let's make it real simple. They are the wealthy that are currently in office or running office or have the ability to pay for these people to make the choices they make. And you are whoever you are. To me, I'm Rodney Glover, a candidate for governor of Florida in 2026. Thank you guys for your time, and you guys have a great day.